Hiya! Welcome! Records Roundup number 91. Here we are once again going through everything that I've bought in the music realm since the last time we did this. And while it's usually just or predominantly records, I do show all the formats as well. This is kind of like a little bit of an introduction for those who maybe not have joined me for the previous 90 editions, but if you are new, welcome, and let's get started with something that isn't a record and a format I've not shown on Records Roundup in ages, a mini disc. So what I've got here is a purchase from Time Slave Recordings via Bandcamp, of course. And it is what I believe is the latest studio album from New Arcades, All That Remains. Got to try and hold this steady and close to the camera because of what a small item it is. Obviously you can see a slightly better picture of it on screen as well with all the info. So this isn't a new release as in it's recently come out 2025. I think maybe this is from last year actually, but I thought, as I'd recently purchased the Time Cop 1983 EP Metropolis from Time Slave, I thought, you know what, see what's out there still for my synthwave collection, and also to see if Time Slave had any of their albums on mini discs still in stock, because they don't really seem to be releasing these anymore. In fact, this might be the final album or release that they've brought out on MD, to be honest. And there was still a couple in stock. I don't think there's many of these, maybe 100 or so that were actually pressed. Give you a little look at the back there, sorry for any glare. New Arcades, I don't own anything by them previously. It's a duo, I think, generally based in the UK, and it's just some more synthwave for the collection. Plus it's nice to get a modern mini disc again, as it's been a long time since I've bought one of these. With Sony not manufacturing mini discs anymore, then I kind of get the feeling that these are going to become even rarer and fewer and far between, and perhaps stuff from Time Slave Recordings will be just out on vinyl and obviously CD and even cassette as well in the physical music realm. Great to get another mini disc in the collection, and from the little bit of this I've heard already, this sounds like it's going to be an excellent album. New Arcades and All That Remains. On now to two new releases, or rather one new release and one reissue from the Within Temptation web store. So obviously you know what act I'm going to show you. First up is a 7-inch single. I think it's on coloured vinyl. We'll probably take a look, no doubt. And it is technically not Within Temptation, but it does feature them. It's Blind 8 featuring Within Temptation and Labyrinth. I think it's technically only the lead singer from Within Temptation, Sharon Den Adel, on this, but the whole band Within Temptation are credited. Released via Music on Vinyl. Blind 8 are a Ukrainian metalcore band, and I think they haven't been going an awful long time. I'm not even sure they've released their first full-length studio album yet. But as a Within Temptation fan and collector, and with them being credited on this, I did want it for the collection. A very low number there. I think that might be out of 500, but I've got the 8th in existence of this single. One of the lowest numbers, perhaps the lowest I've got for anything really that's individually numbered. Right, so I'll get open the dreaded Music on Vinyl adhesive outer and we can have a look and see what colour it is. Yeah, translucent red. It's got Labyrinth on side A and then the instrumental version of the song on side B. Looking very nice in this sort of getting on towards dusk light here as I'm filming. I mean, I've got extra lighting on obviously, which does help. So that's Labyrinth.
How do you feel now? Your words are sweet, but your heart is alive. In this game of shadows, truth dies. Where is your soul? Where is your pride? A bursting sky sets free. Don't you say it lasts forever? Don't you fear it leads to nowhere? Every word you say means nothing to me. Don't you say it lasts forever?
Also, from Within Temptation, a reissue of something that hadn't previously come out on vinyl. It's a double live album and it is Let Us Burn, Elements and Hydra live in concert. Heavy thing this, 4 LPs worth. Why they released 2 separate tours in one album, I'm not entirely sure, as they've released plenty of other live stuff before and it's just been kind of standalone, but these two were bundled together even back when it was originally out on DVD and CD as well, I don't know, some 10 plus years ago. So we've got the Elements tour from Antwerp on LP1 and the Hydra tour from Amsterdam on LP2. This is a limited edition of 500 on red marbled vinyl, which I believe is a store exclusive. It also came out at the same time as a different colour or pattern vinyl, but was available elsewhere other than at Within Temptation themselves. My number on this is really low as well, number 30. I did seem to pre-order these really quickly actually as soon as they were announced. So whether that's helped me get these low numbers, it doesn't matter. I'm not arsed as long as I get the thing, really. Right, let's have a look at this. I mean, it's got to be marbled red, but it should look, I would have thought, markedly different from the Labyrinth single. Ah, that feels really nice, that. They're sort of slightly frictionized, if that's the right term, sleeve here. It feels like a book cover. Obviously, there's 4 LPs in here, so I'm only going to show you one of the discs. And they're all going to look the same or very similar. Also, we've got a little bit of a booklet there, which I might have a flick through in a sec. Bit of a strange size, that, really, given it's an LP now, but yeah, I mean, that's, I would say, translucent pink, but yeah, I suppose kind of looking at it from this angle, it's maybe a little bit of red mixed in with clear vinyl. It's got sort of like a marbling effect to it. It looks nice, whatever it is. So there you go, that's what that looks like. Surprisingly, it's not a gatefold, that, which I thought it might be. A little bit of a look at the book, seeing as how it slipped out. Oh, she is so gorgeous, is Sharon. I've said that before. Her husband, Robert there, is in the band. Lucky bugger. These concerts, of course, took place at least a decade ago, or a bit over, I think. But this was a sort of, at least in the live discography of Within Temptation, a little bit of a hole really for vinyl collectors. But it did finally get a vinyl issue. Now for the fun and games of putting this back, there we go. Let Us Burn, the new, but it's a reissue really, double live album, 2 concerts, a lot of the songs repeated across both sets as well, but really happy to have got this from Within Temptation. Now on to a purchase from Recycle Vinyl, who I buy a lot of 12-inch singles from, in the dance music realm, obviously. And this was actually purchased with the last lot of dance 12 inches that I did a video about, and I'm sure most of you know this anyway, but I tend to show my bundle purchases from Recycle in standalone videos, as I think just showing a load of mostly anonymous looking 12-inch singles in Records Roundup would be quite dull. Plus it's a good way to play more of the music that I'm adding to my collection, because a lot of the stuff, I mean, I'm really buying it on a whim. I've just listened to some and thought, yeah, I'll buy that and add it to the collection. Anyway, there was one album in amongst all those singles that I got from Recycle, and I've saved it to show you today in Records Roundup. It is Power Max 1. Only one of these came out. I mean, with the number 1 in the middle, you think it's the start of a series, and I think that was probably the intention. This is a French compilation. Not the first French early 90s Euro House compilation I've got from Recycle. I showed one, I can't remember what Records Roundup it was, but it was at least a few back now. That was a good album. This one has some stuff that I know on it, such as Betty Boo, Where Are You Baby, Soho Hippie Chick, that samples How Soon Is Now by the Smiths, of course. FAB, featuring MC No. 6, The Prisoner, which was the follow-up to FAB's Thunderbirds Are Go, which was quite a big hit, I think, in 1990. The Prisoner, that didn't do very well. I'm a big Prisoner fan, so I'm bound to prefer that to the Thunderbirds thing. And plenty of other stuff that I don't know as well. Hold that up for a little bit, so if you want to take a screenshot just so you can read what other tracks are on this more easily, you can do. Very cheap this, because at this point Recycle is still offering 30% off their entire stock. Whether they'll increase that discount even more, I doubt it somehow. Hopefully they're going to start adding new stock to the site, but they're desperate to clear all their old stock. And I've been helping them out by buying plenty of 12-inch singles and the odd album, such as Power Max 1 here on the Eurostar label for about £3 odd. I thought, why not? This'll just be a nice thing, a compilation, cheap and cheerful. Power Max 1 there, various artists.
Who are you? To you, number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6. I am not a number. I am a free man. You are number 6. Number 6. I am not a number. I am not a number. You are number 6. Number 6. I am not a number. I am a free man. I will not make any deals with you. I've resigned. I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, indexed, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. I resign. Orange alert. Orange alert.
But now, music.
Call me fun for a reason I don't understand. Have to listen to your demand.
On now to 2 purchases from a Discogs seller. I was alerted by one of the WhatsApp channels I follow regarding vinyl deals as to a seller on Discogs who was selling everything in stock with 50% off, and you paid full price what you'd see it listed on Discogs, but once the seller had dispatched your records, you would get 50% off whatever you'd spent, no minimum or maximum spend as well, back via PayPal. So while these next 2 records here, one's a 12-inch single, the other one's an LP, they were both up on this Discogs marketplace seller at £25 each, which I thought was way too much for both of these. I still bought them because I would get half my money back. I got a refund for £25, so £12.50 each. These ended up working out, which I think is a lot more reasonable for both of these. First up is a Joy Division single, and surprisingly one that I hadn't got. I do have it on CD actually, I've had it on CD for donkey's years, but it's the 1995 remixes of Love Will Tear Us Apart that were released to promote the compilation album Permanent Joy Division 1995. 4 tracks on here. I think that's the same 4 tracks that's on the CD single. I can't remember. Not sure if this got a 7-inch release around this time either. I kind of felt like my Joy Division and New Order hole filling had really sort of come to a head and peaked really some months ago. But there is still odds and sods that are out there that I find that I do want, such as this. And Love Will Tear Us Apart needs no description or introduction or anything else from me, because it is just one of those classic tracks, of course. Also from this seller, and what was listed at $25 but I ended up getting for £12.50, is a little bit of an impulse purchase, but then again not really, because it's kind of a Pet Shop Boys album, this. Although she isn't a Pet Shop Boy, obviously this is the legendary Liza Minnelli and Results. But this album, I think the whole album was produced by Pet Shop Boys and their longtime collaborator Julian Mendelssohn. And a lot of the tracks written by Tennant and Lowe as well. Obviously Losing My Mind wasn't. That was originally Stephen Sondheim, I think. And PSB's version of Losing My Mind was a B-side for one of their singles around this period as well. There's also a cover of Tanita Tikaram's Twisting My Sobriety on here, which will be interesting to hear. And also Liza's version of Rent, which was from the PSB album Actually, of course. This will be an original issue. I think it might have got some sort of limited vinyl issue within the last decade, but in a format that's long since deleted and very expensive. For the PSB collection, really. I remember hearing a couple of the singles off this, certainly Losing My Mind and Don't Drop Bombs. If it's produced by Pet Shop Boys, then I'm going to enjoy it. Obviously, I'm not a Liza Minnelli fan or a Liza Minnelli collector, but this, once I saw it on Discogs and knew that I could get it for half its listed price, I thought, you know what, I really need this for the PSB library. So there we go, Liza Minnelli and her Results.
The morning ends, I think about you. I talk to friends and think about you. And do they know it's like I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore. The thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right. I dim the lights and think about you. Spend sleepless nights to think about you. You said you loved me, or were you just being kind? Or am I losing my mind?
Penultimate record to show you here before we end with the obligatory mail opening. And this one, it was an impulse purchase from Flashback Records. I've talked about Flashback in so many videos on this channel, particularly over the past year or more. I really enjoy getting Blu-rays and DVDs from there, but they are a record shop first and foremost, and I still like to browse their records on their website as they get a lot of interesting stuff in. I've said for so long that one of my favourite musical genres is just so poorly represented on vinyl, and if I see something in this genre and it's a reasonable price, and that is a rarity in of itself, because a lot of this stuff, when you look at it on Discogs, is just priced so ridiculously high. This, however, was £30, which for a 1990 album, I think this is from, is not exactly cheap, but for a Bhangra album, yes, that's the genre I'm referring to, I really had to have it, because similar albums by this artist, Sangeeta, and the album is called A Breath of Fresh Bhangra Air. Similar albums, and not just from this artist, but from others on the label, and just Bhangra in general. It's so expensive because it's just really rare. It's like hen's teeth, it really is. So I can't really say anything about this album other than I did trial a couple of the tracks on YouTube, enjoyed it enough that I thought, yeah, £30, that's just about what I would pay for something like this. And I really want as much Bhangra in my collection as possible, as I love it so much. It is just such an addictive musical genre for me. And when Flashback had this up, then yeah, at £30 I felt I had to jump on it. As I say, similar things can go for triple, quadruple that, would you believe? But happy to have in the collection now Sangeeta's Breath of Fresh Bhangra Air. And finally, a male opening. This one is a new release that is actually a reissue, once again, from Resident Music. I pre-ordered this, at least a couple of months ago now. Its release date is officially today, the day of me recording this. This completes a collection for me, certainly as far as studio albums are concerned. I've been basically waiting for this to be announced and then be able to pre-order it ever since I started collecting this group. A very popular group in the vinyl community here on YouTube. I've forgotten about that. Yes, it comes with something as well, this. Put my knife away safely. I'll show the album first and then the freebie afterwards, but it is the long-awaited, certainly long-awaited for me, half-speed master of Who Are You by The Who. So this is the one Who album, studio album anyway, that I'd not bought. I'd kind of been tempted to just get an older copy, but I'm glad I hung on now and waited, because I figured all the other albums they've done from the first one, My Generation, up to I think the ones that came out in the 80s have been out on the half-speed master at Abbey Road. I figured, well, this one's got to have a release eventually, and this year it did. So I've not heard the album in full before, but I think the two singles off here, Who Are You and Trick of the Light. Maybe there might be one or two others that I've heard accidentally or out and about somewhere. But so happy that I've now completed my Who studio album collection. Also, the reason I bought this from Resident is they were chucking in for free. I don't think I paid any extra for this, but this numbered print. Obviously it's not signed or anything, but it is hand numbered here, and it's at a 675, and mine is number 279, and as you can see, it's taken for the photo shoot of the album. There's Keith Moon mere weeks before his tragic passing, looking well, he looks happy enough there, doesn't he? So that's a really nice thing. I think only available with pre-orders at Resident. Perhaps one or two other sites might have been doing something similar, but a nice little touch there to go along with the album. So that is the new Abbey Road half-speed mastered Who Are You?
Is it just a trick of the light? Or is her ceiling feeling? She's sitting up in bed, shaking her head, and a copy of two confessions. It must seem like a fairy tale to a woman of her profession.
And who am I but to say that was Records Roundup 91. Done and dusted for you. It's early November as you're watching this, and there's still a lot of great stuff coming out later this month, and probably a bit in December as well. I'm trying to think what I've got on pre-order, and there's still a fair amount, so I'm sure we're going to have at least one more, maybe more, who knows, depending on the frequency of things. Records Roundup before 2025 closes out. But thank you for watching this one. Special thanks go to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna start listening to all this great stuff here. The 7-inch single, an album from Within Temptation, 12-inch single from Joy Division, the Liza Minnelli album, of course, The Who. Who else have we got? Oh, Power Max 1, the cheap and cheerful French Euro House compilation, and of course the Bangra album from Sangeeta. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next Records Roundup and music collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!